Good morning, everybody. I have this favorite recipe of mine, and I'm always tweaking it. But today it's raining. We have this tropical storm coming through, Alex, which pretty much eliminates me from doing anything outdoors. I did do a couple errands. I will have to do an errand shortly, but basically this recipe, I call it my seafood stew. So I'm constantly changing it depending on what I have on hand, but you're going to get the general gist of what I like to do. I don't have anything fancy here. I just have at one time this was a pretty nice crock pot. I probably need to invest in another one, but this one still functions. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you an idea. I'm not going to sit here and do like Paula Deen style every little step. I'm going to tell you what I do, then I'm going to let it do its thing for like 8 hours. Then I'm going to come back to you and show you the finished product. So for right now, I'm just going to talk about the ingredients that I'm going to put in it and how I like to do it. Okay. First of all, I like to get this right here. It's a seafood medley. It's generally around $6. You know, everything nowadays, price is going up. But what's included in this is calamari, clams, octopus, and shrimp. So I won't use all of it. I might use half the bag. But that's one key ingredient. For seafood stew, you need seafood. So then whatever I have on hand for fish, I usually like to use a couple different types of fish. At this time, I only have some small cheap fillets of salmon. So that's going to be going in. So that's those two ingredients. What I like to do, I like to get this right here, Hillshire Polska Kbasa. It's like Polish Kbasa, but they call it Polska. What I'll do is I'll chunk it up into like 3/4 inch chunks. And I'll probably use maybe a little bit more than half of this, but I like to chunk that up, and I'm going to throw that in with my stew. That really pops out the flavor. I don't know what it is about it, but man, I just love that. So I always mix it up a little bit, but I always try and have at least one large can of New England Clam Chowder. At this time, I have two different types of New England Clam Chowder. Sometimes what I'll do is mix a Manhattan clam chowder, which is the red chowder, and mix the white, the New England. So anyway, some people get those mixed up. They don't understand the difference between New England and Manhattan. When you think of New England, just think of white, pretty snow and everything. And you think of going to Manhattan, you think of blood and murder. So that's how you're going to remember the difference. So let's move on to the rest of this recipe. I don't always do this, but sometimes I do. So I'm going to add some whole baby clams to this recipe. You're going to see there's a lot of ingredients here. Full quantities will not go in one batch. But so that's the Kbasa whole baby clams. I may try a little bit of this white clam sauce. I was going to use this with some type of linguine and a cream sauce. I'm still torn on whether I'm going to use it. I'm going to see how everything fits in this crock pot. I usually have this thing filled to the brim, so you'll see why. I like meaty meals. This is one of my favorite ingredients. People call me crazy. I know everybody likes to use fresh ingredients and fresh. Something about these canned button mushrooms, I don't know, it just absorbs the taste. I just love it so much. There's different bottled button mushrooms you can get at different grocery stores, but this is from a store called Winn-Dixie. I love these. When I can, there's not really a local Winn-Dixie around here, but when I get near one, I usually stock up on 4, 5, 6 cans of these. I love these in my seafood stew. These are a couple other ingredients. Sometimes, depending on how much I have of the clam chowder, maybe if I only have one big can, I might substitute. But this is one soup I have found, and I just love this. So this soup has so much flavor. It's called Loaded Potato Soup. It's by Campbell's Classic Kitchens. If you find this, even if you just use it for a separate meal or whatever, I really recommend this. It's got a lot of flavor. I think they have another one called Loaded Potato with Bacon or something like that. It's really good too. So I like to mix up some things. I just remembered one ingredient. I forgot, but as I set this can down, my refrigerator's right here. I'm going to open it up and show you. I like to use these. I love carrots in a stew, any type of soup. I get these real thin ones, and I have more in there. But this is a little bag. They're for like snacks, like you dip in like ranch sauce or whatever. But those tend to cook through nice and soft, and so I like that. So that's going to be going in the seafood stew. That's a staple of mine. Like I said, I improvise all the time, but that's something I like to include every time. This right here is something I like to include in any type of when I'm doing seafood pasta or something like that. But I might mix a little bit of this garlic and herb sauce mix powder into the creation as well. I like to get a lot of flavors in there. I also love Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay seasoning is going to really make this pop. I mean, and throughout the day, I know a lot of people tell you if you're doing something in the crock pot, don't open it and all that stuff. I don't buy that philosophy. Not for me, not my style. I like to mix in all the flavors. If I start off with fish and seafood medley at the bottom, I want to mix it all around. I really want to assist all those flavors to bond together, I guess you could say. But throughout the day, usually I do the seafood stew at least 8 hours. So I like to sprinkle in the Old Bay. So that's another main staple I have to have. I also like to use some form of potatoes. These are, I won't use all this, but I'm going to throw some of these red potatoes, and I'll throw that into the mix too. Like everything I'm showing you here, it might not all go in, but I'm showing you some different ideas, some ways you can substitute to kick up your meal a little bit better. These are whole chopped clams. Or excuse me, that didn't make sense. Oxymoron. Whole chopped? Yeah. How about chopped clams? So this is good. I like to leave the juices from the cans into the mix too, just to really give it some pop. Since my mom's French and I grew up around a lot of French people, a lot of cooking, I really love white cooking wine. It's getting very expensive nowadays. I know a lot of people just use regular white wine. I don't know. I just like different. My favorite is Holland House white cooking wine, but that's getting kind of pricey nowadays. So just went with this. I'm not going to use the whole bottle. I'm going to. I like to get a lot of mix of liquids. And here's just a basic bottle of spring water. So I'm going to mix all this in there. I'm not going to do each step, show you how to pour a bottle. I mean, everybody knows how to do that. So I'm just going to mix it all in. And, I'm going to show you since my editing skills are not that good, I may just do 2 different videos, part 1, part 2. This is going to be part 1. I'll show you the finished product. That'll be part 2. But anyway, so like I said, just mix all this up. It's a rainy Saturday. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So probably around 4:30. Probably closer to 4:30. This should be ready. It's going to take me a while to mix everything in here, and I just let it go. That famous saying, "Set it and forget it." I don't totally forget it, but I assist it throughout the day. But anyway, do what you like to do. If you just like to set it and forget it, and just go by other people's previous advice, not to disturb your crock pot meal, that I'm fine with that too. But just giving you some ideas. Usually this recipe I do in the wintertime, but since the weather's so crappy, I figured, hey, let's make a video, and then let's also eat pretty well tonight. Tomorrow I'll be working outside if all goes well. Looks like the weather's going to be cleared up. I'll be selling my fish and tackle. So anyway, Thanks for coming to my kitchen. Yep, this is not Aileen's kitchen. You might have gone to the wrong channel, but this is how we do it over here, up here in San Carlos Park Homestead. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.